So, morning everybody. Welcome to today's FDEA webinar, which has generated quite a bit of excitement and conversation. It's a topic we've not covered much in the past, but we're delighted to have connected with the team from Superyacht Foodie to look at this particular and see what the opportunities are for those of you in the premium space that could well find routes to market through the super yacht community. I'm not going to say much more because there's quite a lot to cover, but I'm delighted that we've been joined by the Super Yacht Foodie founder, Tita Uuti Väisänen. Apologies if my Finnish isn't up to scratch, but Tita will probably correct me when she comes on. And yeah, I was reading about you, Tita. Quite interesting that you're a skilled sailor and a chef. So I think you're clearly perfectly placed to deliver some excellent insights. And at this stage, I'll hand the mic over to you, and you can introduce yourself and make the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and thank you for the invitation. And nice to be here. I am actually based in southern France, where is one of the main hubs for the super yacht industry. So I will tell you a bit about myself, a bit about how Superyacht Foodie was born, and also then I will hand it over to our one of our sourcing agents, Emma Leinberg, who's going to do then the presentation about how the program works. So my name is Tita Uuti Väisänen, and I think your pronunciation was perfect. Thank you very much. And I'm originally from Finland. My background comes from the hospitality and hotel industry. And 25 years ago, I got into the super yachts because of my lovely husband. He's a master mariner, so we took off from Finland. We went to the Caribbean for the 5 years to sail and also serve, so work as a crew for American big charter company. After that, our way came back to Finland. We both finished our studies and moved over to Mallorca, which was our next home base for the super yacht industry for 2.5 years. And now latest, for the last 17 years, we've been living in southern France, actually in Juan-les-Pins, next to between Cannes and Antibes, if you know the area. And the reason for us being here is the industry where we both work. So super yachts are what we live and breathe. My husband is still working as a captain in one of the biggest yachts in the world. And I then, for the last 12 years, after being employed 7 years as a super yacht chef, I also then moved to a land-based job. I worked as a personal chef for the Russian oligarchs for a few years. And then because of my background also in business, I have an MBA in business. So I set up my consultancy company 12 years ago. And we have then been since helping different companies to enter the super yacht market. And this is what the consultancy business is all about. That's then one part of our business, and Superyacht Foodie is another part of our business. So helping the companies to come into the yachting industry. Business Finland originally got in contact with me and said, how could we get some finished products and food and beverage products into the industry? And this is how Superyacht Foodie started. So we started together with Superyacht, with Business Finland, and then 3 years ago I took a spin-off from them and then started to do it and also spread the wings to other markets than Finland. At the moment we are working in Italy, Germany, Finland, Sweden, basically all the Nordic countries, and now UK and South Africa, and also we have an agency in Australia and that part of the world. So that's about me, and that's about Superyacht Foodie and how we started. And this is then about Superyacht industry. So Superyacht industry is not very well known. It's a very lucrative small market as the size of the market. There's 11,000 it says nearly 10,000. It's between, depending how you count. So it's either 11,000 or, let me kill this, I forgot to kill that, sorry about that. 11,000 yachts, which are larger than 24 meters. It's also, Superyacht needs to have a permanent crew. And we have roughly 150,000 crew members worldwide working on the yachts. These are crew members who actually live on board. So that's part of our market of 1 billion euro market of food and beverage for this industry. 500 million is for the crew. These are all estimates because we don't get any statistics from the industry of the privacy clause between all the sellers and buyers. So 500 million is for the crew food, and then another 500 million is counted to be for the owners and the charter guest use. And this is very important to keep in mind while listening to this presentation, that there is lots of different users in this market. It's not only top high end, but there is a very wide range of also young, fit crew who live on board and eat and breathe the industry also, and looking for new sustainable, healthy foods and ideas. So this is what our industry is all about. We have 3 main hubs for the industry. I live in southern France. As I said, this is our main provisioning hub. So we have the main provisioning agents who are the wholesalers, all in this, based on this area. Then Far East, Dubai, Maldives, it's another hotspot for us. And then Caribbean islands and Florida state in US. And those are the 3 main hubs. Our market is completely global, but it works mostly through the agencies in Europe. So as I said, the wholesalers, they have their headquarters either in southern France, Holland, or Belgium. So those are the places. So from here, all the food will be then flown over to the other hubs of the world. And this is basically the snatch information about our industry, and we can discuss more about it when the questions and answers are there. And I will give the speech over to Emma Linebear, who is one of our agents in UK with Pirjo Kontio-Plant and also Virpi Venhot Jones. So Emma will tell you exactly how Superyacht Foodie platform or marketing platform could help your products and your company to enter this niche lucrative industry. So over to you, Emma.
Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. I'm Emma. My background is luxury marketing. I'm coming to you today from Manchester, not as much of a hub for super yachts as the south of France, but we do have some yacht designers. So yeah, we're getting there. I look after Superyacht Foodies marketing. Alongside Tita mentioned that I'm helping represent the UK. So I get to meet amazing brands like yourselves. And I looked at the attendees list this morning and have tasted and recognized a lot of the brands. So really exciting to connect with you today. So we have our full deck here. Because of the time, I'm just going to give you a short overview of the slides, just to keep everything short and sweet. But for anyone that would like more information and have a really personalized session with us, feel free to reach out to our team. We'll send a calendar link, and this is being recorded, etc. So yeah, we would love to chat to you. So our job. We essentially are a business of connections. So through our industry experience that Tita has gone through, Tita has a black book of many industry contacts. The yacht industry especially has more gatekeepers than most, just by the nature of the end users. Typically, the way that you target those end users is through key professionals, and that's something that we help with, and that is the nature of our business. Just to be very upfront, we're not a sales company. We don't sell anything ourselves of your products, but we really help you nurture those business relationships with the top yacht provisioning agencies and also the yacht chefs and stewardesses, who essentially are the ones that have the buying power of the products on the boats and off the boats. So what we do is largely twofold. We have the digital side of the business, which, you know, our extensive, highly niche digital network, social media, email, etc. Very targeted to exactly the people that you want to speak to and that you want to be seen by. And then we have the more traditional side of the business. So, you know, the relationship building, the events, the tastings, the press, etc. And that's everything from product drops to hosting tasting events for the provisioning agents, etc., and all of the luxury events that we attend. So that gives you a little bit of an introduction about us and what our role is. And then I'm going to move on to what happens and, you know, what we're looking for in brands. So this slide here is essentially shows who we're looking for a Superyacht Foodie brand. So we're very selective with the brands that join our program, just by nature of the people that we're presenting you to. So on the left-hand side, you can see some elements that the brand must have, which I think 90% of the businesses on this call will be covered. But, you know, for our international market, that's things like making sure the materials are in English and making sure you have social media channels, etc. What's really important is that your product must be unique, innovative, sustainable, and healthy. Again, this is directly dictated by what those end users, what those owners of the boats, the charter guests are looking for. They're looking for those products with wow factors, not just on taste, but also the benefits of the products too. There are elements of the partnership and the program that if you don't meet, then of course reach out to us, because we can, you know, offer bespoke options for you as well. So hopefully that covers what we're looking for in brands. And now I'm going to move on to the fun bit, which is what happens when you are a Superyacht Foodie brand. Oh, sorry, skipped. So this is the Superyacht Foodie program. How it works. We're essentially a demand creating business and a connections business. So one of the amazing things that we do is hand delivering tasting baskets of your products directly to the boats. So we will literally take your products onto the boat, explain exactly what they are, say all of those really key story points that you want to get across about your product to the people that are going to be presenting them and cooking and using those ingredients either in as the chefs or, you know, the chief stewardesses presenting that to the products. So this is great because they taste them, they use them in the service, and we do exactly the same thing with the provisioning agents as well. So we will hand drop those to all of the agents around Europe and make sure that your products are directly in front of those gatekeepers to the industry. It's beneficial not just because you're cutting through all of the noise and going straight to those gatekeepers, but also because there's a nice feedback loop as well. So we get the key information and the feedback from those gatekeepers and feed that back to you. It's also great and a great opportunity for exposure because a lot of the crew on the boats do have big social media followings themselves. So that's something that we really encourage for them to share across their social medias channels as well. Our company doesn't just work across yachts. We also have a private aviation division as well. And there's some more exciting things coming around the corner as well that we can also help connect you to. Okay, so I'm going to go into a little bit more detail about the digital channels. So this is specifically the social media marketing. So as standard, we include 2 sets of 2 posts across the year, and that's as a minimum. So that is, 2 carousel posts, 2 reels that we create in-house, and again, essentially act as the storyteller for your business. So we spend a lot of time learning exactly what your product is. We've all tasted the products as well, and we've all sampled them. So we want to understand in as much detail as possible how to represent you in the best possible way. The reality is that we tend to post a lot more than those 4 standard posts, because any events that we have, any recently we've been doing some recipe tasting, etc. So it's one of those great aspects that the more that you can give us, the more that we can use that across our channels. And we also use your use your products to film new content as well. So we'll do a photo shoot, excuse me, film the products, capture your brand out in the wild, essentially. And we'll do all of this in collaboration with you, so you can use that content as well for your campaigns as user-generated content. We also boost the posts, so beyond our niche network, we can give you exposure specifically to wider Superyacht audiences as well. So that really helps with the reach and the word of mouth, creating that buzz around your products. These are just some of our channels. Again, we'll send this around afterwards, so you'll have all of our details. And now I'm going to move on to the events, the more sort of traditional side of the business. So this slide here is about the Superyacht Foodie Fair. This event is mandatory for all of our Superyacht Foodie brands. And I, from experience, I don't know why you wouldn't want to attend, because it's hosted in the Antibes Yacht Club, which is a really exclusive yacht club. It's a stunning, stunning location. You can see from this photo. It's right in the harbour. It's actually deeper than Monaco. So a lot of the big boats come because they can be housed there sort of all year round. So that's a really nice selling point, to have those bigger boats in attendance. But yeah, it's a great opportunity essentially for you to market your business to all of the key stakeholders in the Superyacht industry. Each business will have their own stand and be represented by 2 people from your business. So it's an opportunity to have hundreds of the world's provisioning crew, chief stewardesses, etc., all in one place. So that's really exciting. And yeah, if you have any questions, there's a great video here that I will send around as well, that gives you a taste of life in the French Riviera sun, which again, Manchester doesn't have too much of. But so I'm going to come back to this slide, because I just want to touch on the events a little bit further. So the Superyacht Foodie Fair that I mentioned in Antibes kind of kicks off the Mediterranean season of the partnership. So now, no matter where that you start as a brand, this will sort of flow throughout the year. I'd say one of the most significant yachting events of the year is Monaco Yacht Show. And then throughout the year, across the world, across Europe and America, we present your brand at lots of different events. So again, there you're having the extended Superyacht industry, and a lot of these events actually you can't get tickets to. So it's an opportunity for you to have that kind of unrivaled access to the Superyacht industry. Any F1 fans, Monaco Grand Prix, some really exciting opportunities across the year. And we also do masterclasses as well. So we involve local chefs, celebrity chefs, and they use your products, etc., to really present those again. So there's lots of opportunities, lots of exciting things to be involved with. So I'll take you back to this screen. So this is a very exciting element and a new thing for 2025. So Tissa, I think, will explain in a bit more detail. This is something that has been formulated over a number of years, but this is the Superyacht Foodie Adventures TV series. So at the moment, we're right in the middle of filming. We're filming a documentary that essentially films the superyacht industry, but is a real farm to fork documentary. So we take our crew across the world to different locations. We have 2 episodes in South Africa, across Italy, France, Finland, and we go onto the boats. The superyacht chef and a locally trained Michelin star chef will venture off the boat to local markets, etc., and find hero ingredients that we go into a bit more detail about in the show. They then bring those back to the boat and create some amazing experiences for the guests on board. And we're filming all of that. And why it's so exciting is because we're using creative ways to bring the brands that we represent into this. So I'm sure at the end, Tita, you can give a little bit more detail about that. And if anyone has any questions, then feel free to ask. But yeah, it's a really, really exciting opportunity. And we're currently in talks with major streaming networks to have this broadcast to a really huge global market. So, you know the things like Below Deck, etc. It's different to that. It's more like a travel documentary, but just the global reach that streaming companies can offer is a very exciting time for the business and all of the brands that we represent. Okay, so here's a little bit more detail about the events I mentioned. And now on to the fun part, which is the package. You can see the prices here. So we offer a tailored opportunity, whether you have 1 product, 2 products, 3, etc. The pricing reflects that, as you can see. And what's included is everything I've mentioned: the Superyacht Foodie Fair, going to 1 international event where we will host your products, the social media promotion, press release to every year we do a press release to all of the huge boat specific media publications, things like Boat International, Forbes, etc., alongside email campaigns, the chef baskets I mentioned, the photo shoots. And also we offer online training for any brands that maybe need help with marketing, sales training, etc., which is more relevant to the smaller brands. But yeah, we offer those too. There's a few additional exposure opportunities that we also offer. And again, please contact us if you'd like to find out any more details about those. How much time do we have? Okay, we've got 5 minutes left, so I'm going to quickly apologize for my whirlwind there of information, but here you can see some of our stats for the reach for 2024. This year has been exceptional, so we're really proud to have expanded that on that as well. Here's some details about some of the events that we were involved with. At the Monaco Yacht Show, which is again a very prestigious yacht club, we were involved with a Superyacht chef competition. With His Serene Highness Albert II attended that event, so really exciting exposure for all of our brands. A lot of the events that I mentioned that we host, for example, key captains of all of the big yachts. So again, that decision maker, thousands of crew, and yeah, essentially all the people that you want to be putting your products in front of to get into this industry, which is very much a connections business and industry. Tissa at the beginning of our call mentioned being based largely in Europe, a lot of the provisioning agents, but as the industry expands, as a lot of for example, the Middle East, a lot of owners we're seeing over the last 5 years have been coming from that region, and naturally the provisioning agents are adapting to that. So as they grow, our partners and the opportunities for our partners also grows across the world. We're also offering new initiatives this year. So as well as the program, we are doing things like the Superyacht Foodie Experience, where essentially we give the yacht chefs a night off and take that experience onto the boat. So have like a fine dining event for the owners and things like that as well. I mentioned the TV series. That's very exciting for us. And here towards the end of the bullet points, you can see some examples of brands who have had large orders from provisioning agents. We're really proud to say, that a lot of our brands have really expanded their business and opportunities, and they're receiving significant orders across the globe with provisioning agents. We've also found that some of our alumni brands, for example, we have a brand called Velamo Water, and a vodka company as well, and it's really nice to see that they are collaborating as well. So it's not just the opportunities we can provide, but it's also the opportunities you can get from other brands on the program. I think that sums up everything that I wanted to say in as quickly as I could. Here are our contact details. Please reach out to us if you'd like any more information, and if we can answer any questions, I'd love to open up for questions.
Great, thank you, Emma. No, that's a really good summary. Yeah, really brought it to life. Very good, very good. Yeah, I guess probably a lot of people are just sitting there thinking about the logistics of it all. I noticed somebody asked a question specifically about if a product goes to one of the European hubs, does it have to be compliant with the market it's going to end up in as a product? I guess perhaps one of the team could talk us through the logistics and what companies have to do with their product in order to be compliant with the process and the supply chain that you're working in.
Okay, maybe I take over here. I have more experience on that. So as I answered to one of the questions, so our main market is Europe. But of course, halal certificates and anything FDA certificates the US, it's always a bonus for the companies, and also then the provisioning agents can offer them to the wider range of clientele. But European certificates are fine to start with. And then once the market expands for your products, so then we can discuss about other certifications. But if you have them already, so of course, it's fantastic. And I think Emma did a very good presentation. I think one thing what I would still like to maybe point out that we curate every product. So Superyacht Foodies is not a program where you can just kind of sign up to. We curate, and we have a team of people here in southern France, partly Superyacht chefs, also the provisioning agents, who actually look into your product before we take it to the platform. And this way, we also make the chances for you much better, because it's been evaluated already by the industry once we accept it to the program. So kind of how it starts is, of course, you do the first appointment with our sourcing agents, and then once you have agreed that this is something that is interesting for you, you will send your product samples over to us here in southern France. Then we evaluate them, and then we talk more, and this is how the process starts.
Great, thank you. Yeah, that clarifies that. Good. Has anyone got any questions? Either pop your hand up. Is it? I'm not sure totally where it is, but if anyone's got any questions, either pop your hand up or turn your mic on.
From Will?
I think that's the one we've answered, isn't it? Yeah, I think Will was asking specifically about compliance in different markets.
Oh yeah, no, but I've got an extension to that question now then.
Go for it.
Hi. So, for example, the main hubs you mentioned were Europe, and then you've got the provisioning agents, and then we're also in the UAE working with Atlantis, Emirates Airlines, and other private airlines already, or private charters. With the provisioning agent, if you get appointed by one, do they have to take the stock to the UAE, for example, or will they buy from your local distributor as long as the price matches? It's just that in some markets we have exclusivity. So if it's import for export, we probably can circumnavigate that. Or would they take from domestic stock in the ground if the product's exactly the same?
Well, I think this is really to be discussed together with the provisioning agent what you prefer. But I think they would kind of prefer to use your local agent just yeah, of course. And I think it's if you have exclusivities in some parts of the world with sellers, so it's also fine with the provisioning agent. They are wholesalers for this industry, and they are not expanding to any other industries. We then also, what I would like to mention is that our provisioning agents also work with the 5-star hotel chains. So this is another market in Monaco area and here in southern France, what they serve also that market.
Wow, so, thank you. Then I will reach out very quickly.
Yeah, no, because it's of course our end users are the same clientele. So this is also, and what we are in the speaks about at the moment is to go to also the cruise ship market, which there's Ritz-Carlton, and these are opening this new yacht, so-called yacht selection, and this is also the same clientele than in our Superyachts. So we are completely targeting that market and globally.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And Tita, can I clarify, in those situations, so you effectively broker the connections, do you then leave the brand to agree with the provisioning agents how it works, or do you stay involved at that time?
For Superyachts, we don't stay. So Superyachts, you get all our connections once you join the program. We give you our black book, as Emma said. So I give my black book with the contacts, and of course also help that when we take the tasting basket. That is also what me and my assistant Sophia, who's here in southern France, we do it personally. So this is the way for me to kind of hand over the contacts from your company to the provisioning agent, and then you do the business yourselves. We are not part of it, and that's why I always get asked, what kind of amounts do they order? I said, I don't have a clue because we don't do the sales. But of course, I hear from both sides that they're doing good sales and there's been a success here, or they have that, yeah. So this kind of a knowledge I do have. Then when we are talking about the cruise ships and aviation, so then those products are then again selected from our selection. Not all the products are suitable for private aviation. There is restrictions with the packaging sizes, and also then cruise ship industry volumes are huge. So those are two different sectors where we then pick the products from our selection. Those are separate from the Superyacht Foodie basic program.
Understood. And you were very clear on the attributes of a product. You want unique, innovative, sustainable, healthy, but you also talked about the two different sides of the provisions and what's needed. So you've got the crew and the owners and guests. Do you feel the same criteria applies to both, or are there more opportunities for people that perhaps don't fit into your first description who could still service the crew members, for example?
Exactly. So this is what I wanted to point out, is that, of course, our owners, how we want to tell the stories of the small producers with a very specific tailor-made product is, of course, the owner category. And then the crew category is then a more mass product, if you so want to say, for the bigger companies to reach out. We have, for example, XXO cognac, which is of course the owners use, and then we have a brand with a fantastic Panko breading, which is then for all of the use, but mostly of course for the crew. So we have a very wide range, but the quality needs to be exceptional. Whatever you offer, the quality needs to be exceptional. So this is the criteria, and this is also why we want to have your products and test the samples beforehand with the clientele here, because I think that's fair. It's fair for the company who wants to join, and it's fair for our users too. So say they see the value of us being here in between and being the sourcing agent for the industry.
Definitely. And just to add to that, in terms of numbers, depending on the size of the boat, the crew could be, you know, up to 50 people. So that is, you know, a scale times all the vessels that are around. So it is a bigger market.
Yeah. So it's like a small village in a big yacht.
Yes, I can't say I have any direct experience, but maybe one day.
Maybe you're joining our event here, so how it works.
Very good. Good. Any other questions from anybody, or anyone want to share an experience? I don't know if anyone on the call is already selling into the sector that might want to share any thoughts. Do pop your hand up or turn your mic on if you'd like to share anything. No? No, good. Well, I think you presented it very clearly. I think the offer was very clear as well, and thank you for sharing the pricing. I think that's important that people understand the investment that's needed if they wanted to take up the opportunity. I know that your team are going to be over in the UK at the time of the lunch trade show in London, which is in September. And I think you're very happy to meet one-to-one with anyone that would like a face-to-face meeting at that time. So what we've agreed to do is we will send round your contact details with this recording to everybody and to the wider membership who couldn't come along today. And then you can deal direct with anyone that wants to meet you up and agree a location. So I think that's a good opportunity for anyone that wants to have a think about it and then talk through it in more detail. I'm not sure who's leading on that, who would be the main contact, but we can clarify that when we send the email round. But I think that would be a good opportunity as well.
Yeah.
Exactly. And as Emma was saying, so also a half an hour meeting just to talk beforehand is maybe a great opportunity also to start the process. Great,
good stuff. Great. So Emma, perhaps if you pop your email in the chat as well. So just while we wait for the recording and things to come through, if anyone didn't jot it down at the time. Yeah, and look forward to hearing of anyone that reaches out and connects. I think it's always interesting looking at different niches and how somebody can expand their sales through these niches. So yeah, I know looking at the brand list, I think you're quite right. I think there's definitely a few people that fit the bill. So it'd be interesting to see what follow-up we get. So thank you all for your time. Thank you everybody for jumping on this morning. And yeah, look out for the recording and things, which hopefully we can get out later this afternoon, if not early tomorrow. And yeah, let's keep in touch. So thank you to Tita, Emma and the rest of the team. And thank you to everyone for joining. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sandra.